Oh, hello, mate. How you doing? Good stuff. Just loading up. Right, so we are live. Good. Get that on. Make sure that's all set. Perfect. Minimize that a little bit. Actually, get that like that. That's. Will you read the chat? Not if it's gin, no. But if it is gin, then maybe. Alright. Okay, so we've got that going on, and what's he say? Oh man. Alright, so are you on here? Oh, you're on there. Excellent. Now let's just update this. What was I doing here? Winners were 5. Losers were 2. Had no. Just updating the journal. Right. Yeah. So any questions? Let's see who's in the room. Let's see who's joining us. Oh, okay. We've got a few. That's all right then. I thought if we can get at least maybe, I don't know, 10 or 20 people, that'd be enough. Perfect. Right. Scrunch this up a bit. That's it. That's with. Have we done? Yeah. Let's see it with that. Okay, so it's not with that. So we have to go down to there. We'll come back to the journal after.
YouTube videos this morning, Wyckoff came up. I was just wondering what your opinion on Wyckoff.
I don't know really. It seems to have some relevance with the trading that we do. I think if you delve into it a little bit more, you will probably see that. You'll probably see that is, it covers some of the things that we tend to look at as well, in terms of price action. But in terms of me using it, I looked at it years ago, and I just haven't really gotten around to using it anymore. I think there's so much stuff out there. I mean, like when you go on these groups, forums, discords, etc., people are constantly asking for such and such a course, saying, oh, have you got this course, have you got this course, and you can see people, obviously they're back testing and trying out different methods, different courses, comparing. It's part of the process, I guess. For me, it's just it's too much, and I just don't want to pollute what I've already got going on. So I do look at other things, but with caution. If you dive into it and you wish to discuss it, the whole Wyckoff way of doing things, we can always do that. And then we can take notes and compare, and I suppose if others are doing it, then maybe I'll be more inclined to have a look as well. So Jin's always MIA. You're always MIA. You were MIA since the holiday season and held some other personal issues. Oh, okay. Had some other personal issues come up. Trying to catch up and check on all your videos. I was really surprised that you would only teach for a year, so I need to. Surprised? Well, it's quite demanding, isn't it? I'm not over the last month or so. My daily routine's kind of gone out the window in terms of going to bed at a reasonable hour. Try and get my head down between sort of 9 and 10 in the evening. That's not happening. I'm going to bed at something like 11, 12 o'clock at night, because I'm this is when people decide that it's appropriate for them to send me messages and start talking about this, that, and the other. Asking for help, or just having a general chat with trading. I suppose that's the time for a lot of people when they're not too busy, I guess. So I end up engaging, and an hour. I'm in bed at 9:30, and an hour and a half later, I'm still conversing with traders. But that's okay. It's been quite busy. I just want to go back to doing my own thing in a year's time or so. But I thought, as part of a New Year's resolution, we could just focus on doing stuff for a year. And what was interesting yesterday, somebody asked me about sharing and what I'm doing, and the way that I teach and what I talk about and how I do it, and I came to realise that obviously I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a mentor, I'm not a coach. I think people generally put disclaimers out there. I know if you're in America, everyone puts a disclaimer out there because they'll get sued for spilling a hot cup of coffee over someone. It's just quite crazy the way that their legal system works. But yeah, I should put a disclaimer out there and say that any ideas that I share, advice that I give, are my own opinions and they don't count for squat. So. But it was interesting to have a conversation yesterday evening with somebody who said most professional traders put explain things step by step in terms of their strategy, because I asked the other day in the live session, how many people get what I'm sharing in terms of my strategy, in terms of percentage? I said, and some people said like 50% of it. Someone said I only get 20% of what you're saying. So I thought that's interesting. So it's and they say, would it be fair to say that you tend to go around the houses when you explain things? And I said yeah, but I've made that clear as well, and I do say that. What is the colour rule you use on the candlesticks? People always ask me about that. So this is my own software, and the blue and the yellow are what we basically call boomerang boomerang candles. So let's have a look at this hour candle on the pound dollar. So yeah, this is your time really, Q&A, ask any questions about anything at all. Doesn't matter how daft, it might even end up generating a decent conversation about something. So yeah, this is just stuff to help me. So the yellow one's a boomerang, so when it goes down, it's basically saying that it might go back up. And especially if we get the arrow as well, like here I have a green arrow with a yellow candle on an hour, which shows that this might spring back up. And sure enough, it did. It actually started a decent uptrend, like confirmed the uptrend. And that arrow is basically from my OBS, so overbought, oversold indicator at the bottom here, which is very much like an RSI. I'd say it was compared closer to a stochastic. And you can put this on your own charts. And so the stochastic settings would be 222. People often have a love-hate relationship with indicators. They'll say it's lagging. So those that are for it know how to use them. Those that are against it probably don't know how to use them. But this just allows me, if you see here, we have my 7 o'clock, 30th of December, 7 o'clock in the morning, London time. You can see we've come down here and it's oversold or overextended to the downside. So it's come into my green area. So we are, I think, where did it get down to? About 10? No, about 13. There we go. So this is 0 to 20. Up here is like 80 to 100. So if it gets down here, it shows oversold. And you can see that quite. So that arrow comes up to basically just to give me the heads up to say, hang on a minute, look, we are overextended, so it could reverse and go up. Same here as well, exactly the same thing. Green arrow, overextended. So you can set this up for yourself. You can write a bit of software, you can ask someone to do it, you can find it on various charting software, or you could just manually do it. These are just a couple of little extra bits for me, because it just helps me to look at what's going on. But you don't have to necessarily have an arrow showing on your chart to point out the fact that your stochastics is saying overextended to the downside. So that's what that is. You notice that this candle as well remained green, despite being bearish. It remained green, so it was slightly shaded to say, well, we're still in an uptrend, so perhaps don't dismiss the possibility that it will continue up. So when you're in a trade, it encourages you to stay in the trade and not jump out because you see one bearish candle. So again, that's the software. The white candles just mean that the volume's died, and you'll see these, the white candles are linked with my momentum indicator, which is my stochastics here. And that is with the storyteller, which is similar one to this, is an awesome indicator. You can use that as well. Awesome oscillator on TradingView, or awesome indicator, the settings of which are 5 and 34. And all that's doing is measuring volume or volatility coming into the market. So when it's right down here, resting on a zero line, it's a reflection on the charts to say, well, there's no volume. So, maybe don't start jumping in thinking that you're going to get some massive moves, because nothing's really happening. And this is an hour time frame. So you had 1, 2, looked like it was going to do something there, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, quite a few hours. And of course, that's reflected on the time of day, and it was Tuesday the 29th of December. So, should you be trading over the Christmas period? Are you that desperate? Should be taking some time off to spend with family and maybe just looking at charts and doing a bit of analysis, etc. But you certainly should be trading. There were a lot of people trading over the holiday period, and they weren't really achieving a great deal. They were losing more than they were winning. And I just thought, why are you doing it? I could understand why. Because we're in a lockdown. What else is there to do? You could argue that. So this is where you need to be really disciplined and think longer term. Think, okay, I've got a whole year. So send me a message if you guys are taking a trade. I've said this to a lot of the people, a lot of my group, a lot of my traders, I should say, not people, your traders in my Telegram group. Off the back of the feedback that I was getting off some of them, I said that it's important that you need to have someone to communicate with, because it's all very well you hide behind your screens and your charts and you just end up making mistakes. So I said, if you want to, you can contact me via Telegram. You can just send me a screenshot of your chart. You can say, maybe put on your chart or a little explanation, say, look, this is my entry, this is my stop loss, this is my target, what do you think? And we can have a chat about it. And so I can help you that way. That's probably the best thing that we can do. So I'm around, and so going back to someone asking me about the question about being around for a year or so, if I'm going to do that for a year, I think by the end of it I'll need a holiday, at least a couple of years off. What do you reckon? So what do the white candles do? So so that's so that's it, a lack of volume, and that's reflected on this indicator. So I've actually got these indicators working for me, and they're proving useful. So they do have value. Has nothing to do with them being a lagging indicator, because they're not lagging, they're just highlighting what is happening in terms of price action. They're not helping me in any other way. I'll keep it quite simple. But they do add, in terms of a confluence, an added level of certainty, if you like, or another confluence to say, like here we're overextended, so look for the reversal, so bite back up. Here as well, pull back, getting a buy signal here to go long, and it's perfect. And this only works when it's in an uptrend. Same to the downside. So this one here, I would ignore this. It's a red candle, and I would ignore it unless we got we tested these last three candles, and basically, as with any price action, really, you said to yourself, okay, this is giving us that momentum potential. This uptrend could be finished. And then if we're in a downtrend like this, now I'm interested in all of these kind of red arrows to the downside, and so it gives me some added layer, I suppose, an added level. But you can do this yourself. You can make things work or not. Trade naked with no indicators. Whatever works for you. Trading subjective. There's no right or wrong way. So yeah, if you want to chuck some charts over my way and say, yeah, what do you think to this one? And here's my stop, entry, target. But you have to do it. I'm not going to hold your hand. I have to. You have to be a bit more proactive. Like the guy I was talking with yesterday, I sort of put the ball back in his court and said to him, well, you said that you only understood 50% of my strategy. Which strategy? Because I have 3. And you said 50%. So what was the 50% that you didn't understand? And then I said, well, maybe, this is why it prompted me to do this today. Because if you're not sure on something, tell me now. I said to him, don't just hide behind your mic. Unmute your mic and ask me a question or send me a message, and I'll help you with it. I'll explain as much as I can. No problem at all. So yeah, I thought I'd just dedicate this weekend to us going over the charts, because I've been quite enjoying the first week back. How was your first week? I hadn't planned on trading, and where's my? I was just updating my first week, my weekly journal, and it is 2021 week 1. These are my trades that I took, and I was just finishing this off. So nearly 6%, 7 shorts, no longs, 5 winners, 2 losers. One thing I could say, so here I always write like a little summary. So my summary for this first week back's quite simple, really. I found I was risking less than 1%, because I was missing the best entries, and I was like with gold selling off. I didn't want to miss out. There is that FOMO, isn't there? There's that fear of missing out. But I jumped on it and used my MT strategy, the momentum strategy, on gold. So like when it got down to about 1921, it broke there, started tanking. So I just jumped on it and I scalped it all the way down. So we targeted the 50 pip weekend gap, which was left between 1901 and 1906. Quick sell off. And I was just banking along the way. I think I banked some at 1910. So yeah, it's good to keep a journal, remember what you did and why you did it, and it give you confidence. And I was really impressed with one of the guys today. He shared something with me. Where's Frank? Are you in here today?
I'm here.
So he spent last night. He spent about 2 hours just going. What did you do? You back tested the Aussie dollar on a 30-minute time frame, and
So
what were your results? They're pretty decent, weren't they?
so I used a pair that I never tried before, which was the AUD USD. I went on TradingView with the replay mode.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. Look.
October 17th, 2018.
Oh yeah, here we go. Good. Yeah,
2019, I took 12 trades.
yeah.
So 12 trades, 7 success, 5 failures, 1 break even, risking 1% per trade and 27% gain.
So,
I was like
that's not bad.
so happy, and I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
started trading. So
yeah. See,
literally 2 months, and then I joined
so
like
let me ask you: did you enjoy doing this bit of back testing? Was it hard work? Did you feel like you were wasting your time? What do you think?
so it's hard because you don't have the flexibility of jumping between frames, like
Okay.
time frames.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's nice. Like it gives you a bit of confidence.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, it gave me.
I think
I was
yeah.
so happy. Like at the beginning of this week, all my pips were wrong. I plotted them the direction, messed up everything,
I
and
saw that.
it
Yeah.
gave.
I helped you sort that out. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's really good. And you've just from there, you've immediately gone and stepped up what you were doing with your trading, and that's really good. I think a lot of new traders struggle in terms of back testing, how to back test, how to make it efficient, and not feel like they're just wasting their time, because let's all be honest, sometimes we do feel a bit lazy and we can't be bothered. I think if you have an exact method and you know exactly how to do it, at least that will help you to a certain degree, because then you don't have to think about where to start. You kind of just say, right, I'm gonna do this today. I'm gonna spend an hour on it, and I'm gonna do it. I know some out there, they've been backtesting and backtesting and backtesting them for like months and months and months, and they're none the wiser, and they haven't made much progress. And I just think, what have you been backtesting, and how? You know, do you even know what that means? And yeah, so I mean, what you've done there is really good, and that's just with what, using the fibs really, and just looking at where you would enter, and you know what.
I use the hybrid way that you always say, like the three strategies together. So I use the fibs, the awesome indicator,
Yeah.
and break and retest, and a bit of resistance and support.
What made you choose Aussie dollar?
Um, just like that. It's a I said I will trade like the pair I've never used before.
Okay.
Um, so
I think Aussie dollar's a brilliant one, because Aussie dollar's made huge gains, and it's been really strong. And you know, clearly you can see it's bullish, and we're getting up to those extension levels up here, the 161 extension, 161.8, so it's extending quite nicely. Yeah, it's a good pair. It's very fib friendly. It does work well with support and resistance. I mean, just look at this example of how here, where it broke up, it was like a double top kind of area where it's tested here. What is that? Around 7,000, just above 7,000. You see it's tested there and bounced off it. You could have thought to yourself, okay, this is going to drop back down, but it didn't, and that was there just telling you, right, this is going up. And look what it did as well. It's gone up and come back down, tested that support area, and then done a double bottom. So very very clean, isn't it? Very neat. Look at when you're trading something, or when you're learning about a particular pair, always have the Aussie dollar in amongst your pairs. I think it's not an aggressive pair. It's very fib friendly. It respects support and resistance, which you can blatantly see from that chart. And it's just a nice pair to have in your watch list. Average true range, I think it's not that much. I think it might be about 70 pips or so. So I mean, it doesn't move a great deal throughout the day, but most of the time you can come in and it probably won't move until the London session or the US session, and so it gives you plenty of time to get in. And it's one of those pairs that you can hold overnight, because you know, unless there's some Australian news, it's not something you've got to start sweating about, because it's not like it's going to do anything crazy while you're asleep. So yeah, I mean, it's quite a nice pair, and yeah, you can be quite consistent with it as well. So
I was going to ask you. I also posted this in the group channel. So if I'm going, so I did go short after the 38.2.
yeah,
So you said you said it went up. So that was like a losing trade.
yeah.
Um, is it just one of the losing trades that I would have to take, or there is a way to improve on it?
Not without seeing your results. I couldn't tell you personally. I haven't seen what you've been backtesting in enough detail, but I said I'd have a look at it later. Yeah, so I couldn't answer that one, I'm afraid. But I think with backtesting, even that subjective, you have to take into account certain variables, like would you have taken all of these trades? Would you have been as consistent as you are, you know, wanting to be? One of the things I said as part of the New Year's resolution, or as part of January, see if you can be consistent with your trading. So I don't mean having taken 10 trades and having 6 winners, but be consistent in how you trade. So if you're risking 1%, risk 1%. If you're risking 0.5%, risk 0.5%. Keep it, keep it consistent in the way that you approach things and the way you approach your trading. And so yeah, that's important. So there's always going to be variables that will affect the this is the disclaimer, isn't it? Past performance doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get future results going to be forget it. You know what I mean. Brain dead. I've been on the computer pretty much all day today, just doing a lot of stuff on the psychology. I wanted to do a little podcast later to do with New Year's resolutions and cover various aspects of this year. So things like identifying the root of your trading problems, if you have any. It could be things like burnout, perfectionism, frustration, performance anxiety. Over trading is always a big one. People don't even realise. Distraction. What sort of distractions do you have, personal or otherwise, in terms of your working environment? Do you sit in a noisy living room with all your family, or do you have a private space where you can go and work? Stuff like that. And so little things. It's all about the detail. This is what we talk about when we talk about the 80% should be focused on your self-development, and 20% should be focused on actually taking the trades. If you've got all of that right in the background, and you've given yourself a head start, really, and you've got that solid foundation. So make sure you're really happy with everything that you're doing, journalising, doing your analysis, how you analyse, your daily routine, and that's there's a little bit about self-awareness as well. Just little things, and then obviously journalising. Supercharging your trading journal, making sure that thing is used for many purposes, such as tracking the markets, trade ideas, working on your performance. It could be in as much or as little detail as you want. I'd say the more detail, the better. So, fully load it up with every idea that comes into your head, put as much in there as possible, and then maybe over a period of weeks or months, if you want to trim the fat and take some off, then scale it back and simplify it, and see what you're left with. I mean, as with anything, it's always a work in progress, and it's an ongoing. It's ongoing basically. It's not. So I found I was risking less than 1% this week because I was missing the best entries, and being the first week back, I hadn't planned on trading this week. So, just giving myself a reminder, giving you the reasons, I guess, as to perhaps why I wasn't aggressive. But surprisingly, there were some really good little setups, mostly on gold. Gold was amazing, wasn't it? So, any questions? Anything about the trading strategies, or question about Bitcoin? You think we're seeing a drop soon? Oh, yeah. Should we go and have a look? Let's have a look. I'll update this later. Could I just update that and put a summary on there? Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Have a look at it on there, and also Bitcoin is it's dropping, isn't it? Let's minimise that and get that there like that. Bitcoin, yeah. I mean, I tried to put some. This is on a weekly time frame here. I tried to put some, put some levels on there, but you can see this is just blown through everything. So if you've been trading for more than maybe 5 minutes, you'll appreciate that nothing moves in a straight line. You wouldn't buy Bitcoin up here, would you? So yeah, I do expect to see pullbacks. To what level, it's hard to say at the moment. Maybe back down to like 30. Some people have quoted that. And then when I look at my extension from these fib extensions, so let's pull up this weekly chart. The initial range was 19, just shy of 20,000, and that was back in December 2017, right? So we are looking at a good 3 years. And then we've just had an explosion. And people are saying that a lot of this money is coming from the money that's been printed. And then they're saying now Biden's getting in the US, he's going to print more money, and they're talking about 3 trillion, and so the dollar's going to be impacted. And they're saying, well, all that free money, roll up, get your helping hand, get your, help yourself to that free money. Where's it going to get invested? So it's going to be invested in things like Bitcoin and maybe gold, silver. So this is what they're saying. But according to this move up, yeah, it's got to pull back regardless. So maybe if it pulls back to 30, we can get back in again. Well, I think I'm going to run out of time. It was only meant to be like a 30-40 minute session. So any more questions? It was just a quick one, really, just to see if we get any decent questions, or if you need any help. Really, if you need any help, please do telegram me. Don't be shy. Do get in touch. At Alex_TYW, or have a look at the website. Actually, the website's good, because the website's got all the links, all the social media links, all the information you need, and you can get in touch via that way. Easy, really easy. Where's my telegram? There it is. So we have two. So we have the trading chat group, and it's just more direct and a bit more lightweight compared to the Discords and other forums. And this is where I tend, because I have this on my phone, you can get in touch with me easier. So that's also, hopefully, that'll help you. But yeah, that's it really. It's a Sunday. I don't really want to take up too much of your time. I just thought, any more questions? We've got about 8 minutes. So we'll run it for another 8 minutes. So if you want to ask me any questions about anything at all. So Bitcoin back down to about 30 would be nice. What we can do is we can plot some fibs on here. And we can take that last major swing low, which was March 2020. That was the drop. So we can do that. And we can say 27,450. 27,450 to 30,000. I mean, what's 3,000 pips or 3,000 points on Bitcoin? Can do that in a minute. So yeah, a nice pullback down there would be ideal to then see it consolidate and then bite back up from 30,000. Will it get down that far? You might want to put a 23.6 fib in there somewhere just to gauge the initial pullback. I wouldn't short it. It's just crazy. But I would like to see some sort of a pullback and then bite back up again if that's something that floats your boat. Personally, I'd say to any new trader, avoid Bitcoin. I'd invest in Bitcoin. So I have some altcoins that I've invested in. Buy them, hold them. Best way to get involved in the whole crypto phenomenon, as opposed to trying to day trade it or swing trade it, because it is just monstrous in terms of how it moves. Compare this to the other end of the spectrum. I compared it to Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar is quite mild mannered, and if you can get on with the Aussie dollar, you could make your money trading Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and just stick to those pairs and do quite well with those. Make 1% a day on them quite easily, really, without too much stress. So, if you're thinking Aussie dollar's a bit too boring for me, I want the thrill of it, then maybe your priorities are wrong, because that's your ego talking. That's like having never driven a car before and then all of a sudden being given 2 sets of keys, one to maybe a sensible 1.4 litre, Ford, and another key to a 5 litre V10 Lamborghini. Of course, the thrill of the Lamborghini looks quite appealing, but you're going to be taking on a bit of a beast, aren't you? And not to say you can't handle it, but yeah, so just be realistic with what you do and how you do it. And in terms of stop losses, the amount of people I heard, they were getting stopped out on Bitcoin, and people were even trying to trade Bitcoin during their prop firm challenges, like FTMO challenges. I just think, yeah, I mean, you're reliant on a lot of luck, aren't you? A lot of luck. I suppose if you could pull it off, make 10% in an instant, then you've passed. But yeah, that's not how you're supposed to trade, is it really? So another question. I see you use the 38.2 fib and also the 127 extension. Why 127, not 138? No, yeah. It's just one of those things. One of those phenomenons. It works with our divergence strategy. So if I just show you pound dollar. So we took a divergence trade with the pound dollar at 136.70, and we had divergence at 137. And it's really interesting. We're at a level at the moment on a weekly where we've bounced off the 76.4. So I wanted to highlight that. We have divergence as well. Divergence at the 76.4 on a weekly for the pounds. I was hoping to see that. So I am looking for downside. I am looking for my 134.85 area. 135, 134.85. About 60 pips or so now. We've closed with a bearish candle weekly. Be nice to see further downside. 133.50. 133.50 area. That would be good. But yeah, divergence. We had it. I believe we had it on the. Do we have it on the 4 hour? Can't remember where I saw it now. It might be on a daily. It just works. It just works really, really, really well, and it's really powerful, and yeah, just seems to be the number, the extension levels. I think like with fractions and formulas, you find that. Why is that like that? Right, good. I think you find that when you add and like with fib sequences, it doesn't do, it doesn't just go up in an orderly fashion. The numbers will slightly skew and slightly change as you go. So it doesn't, for some reason, the 138 just doesn't seem to be the one to work. It tends to stall at the 127. It just seems to be one of those things. So as we go over the 100%, anything between the 0 and 100% tend to work all right. Okay, but when you go over that and you start looking at the 100 plus and even like the 200 plus, you start seeing I think you've got something like a was it 423.6 for example, and a 200, and I can't remember the exact numbers. I've got them written down, but the ones that are relevant and powerful and do actually work do differ to your regular 0 to 100. But so for the purpose of this exercise, as a day trader, you're looking at 0 to 100, and then a few levels above. So 127.2, 161.8, and 176.4. And so you see here, look, $1.37 was a 127.2, and it just hit it. Actually, let's get rid of this one. I've got the wrong one on here. Let's do just the one where we focus on presets. I've got some fib presets here. There we go. So if we do this, take the last swing high and the last swing low. You see what I'm doing here? I'm taking the last swing low. I haven't just picked this one or random down here. It's the lowest point included in wick, the lowest point, the highest point, and then you can see that the price, the way it extends. And we've gone up to the 127 with divergence that we saw here. We start seeing divergence, and you see the volume starting to drift, and we've got our first red candle confirmed. It's taking its time, but we're getting there. And so I do want to see further downside, and the reason I'm saying with our divergence strategy, we basically target the 100% back to previous structure. So that's what we're looking for. I hope this has been useful. Thanks very much, and it's good to ask questions, because no question is stupid, because it might actually spur on some more intelligent conversation. So you never know. Don't dismiss anything, really. I hope you found this useful. Recorded the session. We'll do another one tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow during the live session. Have a lovely day and afternoon. Happy Sunday, everyone. Sorry it was short and sweet, but let's keep it short and sweet. Otherwise, just information overload. And it's a Sunday. Go and enjoy your Sunday. Thank you for making the effort to join us. Appreciate it. Any more questions, like I say, telegram me, and you can. I'm around all day anyway, so just message me that way, and we can share charts and have a conversation one-on-one. Have a good one. Cheers, guys. Bye for now. See you later, YouTubers. Thanks for joining us. Remember what I said. Message me if you want to have more of a one-on-one chat.